Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Kenny, Tin Talon, RJ, Repo Man, Stuart Fisher, Penguin Makers, Tom Taylor. Good morning to all of you. Back on the Skelefork build this morning, trying to get some of the wiring done. We'll do a little recap like we always do to show you where we left off. I did get a little bit done behind the scenes. You hear me? That's good. That's good. Good afternoon, Miss Kevin R. So we'll go through what I've done behind the scenes, a little bit of wiring, some toolhead building, stuff like that. I had to rebuild like several times, just because we're kind of off the beaten path and there's no real guide for it. So it's a little bit of trial and error to try to get things good to go. But I think we're good on two tool heads. A Skyrim. And then had to do a bunch of other work as well. So we'll talk about that. How's everyone on this Sunday? Hopefully everybody had a good week. Hey, Howie. Week for me was a little bit nuts as a pro streamer. Don't know how OBS audio doesn't like audio on the start of streaming. Oh, yeah. Well, so for me, that's because I often forget to unmute myself. So that's a me problem. If I take a week off, it's almost like I forget everything that I've learned over the last year. Hey, AFM. Morning. Yeah, so the week was a little bit crazy. Finished up an online course, a couple of other meetings and stuff in between. Was able to jump on the Makers Making podcast on Friday, which turned out great. Went and did some bingo. Took the girls out to see the Mario movie yesterday. So overall, a good week, but a busy week. Got a new studio to show off tonight. Nice, dude. Yeah, I'll try to tune in for that one. I'll set myself a reminder once we get off stream. So hopefully you have it up, and that way I can go ahead and subscribe and get notified. But if not, I'll make it a point to keep it in the brain bank to come over and see you. And for those that don't know, RJ Repo Man and Penguin Makers both are streamers as well. Go over to their channels, give them a like and a sub. Good morning, Raj D. Mad Al, good morning. Happy Sunday. Yeah, I'm a little bit tired. You can probably see it in my face. But yeah, just a lot going on right now. So cool. What do you say we take a look at where we are? I've got about 2 hours today, so a little bit shorter time frame, so we got to make some progress. I want to share as much of the process with you all as possible. However, if we want to get this project done before the big move, we got to get moving. So that's going to require that I do a lot of stuff off stream. Captain Kern, good morning. Yeah, check out Captain Kern on YouTube as well. A lot of community support this morning, so I appreciate that, guys. Let's take a look at this project so we can get started here. It's kind of where we left off a little bit. So you'll notice this is slightly different than what we were using before. Turns out the one that I printed, that was the 4 pieces, is for a 120 build, and we have a 180. So I had to throw all those parts away. They did not fit. They were legitimately 30 millimeters smaller all the way around, so it didn't fit the frame whatsoever. Also turns out that a frame for a 180 doesn't exist. So I had to go in CAD and make this. So this EMS system, the grid, is all me. Had to make it based on some base files from the Physitech repo on printables. Not too difficult, but I did have to make it and then recreate it 3 more times in CAD because it just, I don't know what I was doing. I kept messing it up somehow. And then I had to print it 3 separate times. So I printed it from PETG, and these arms right here that mount to the frame, they just kept snapping off immediately. Like as soon as I would pick up the frame like so, they would just come right off. And so I was like, well, crap, maybe I just used the wrong settings or something. So I reprinted it again. I added some, modifiers in this area to allow this to be a little more rigid. Immediately still broke off. And I was like, well, crap, it must be the PETG. So I printed it a 3rd time, this time out of some dark purple Polymaker ABS, and it's fine. I should have done that from the start. I was trying to cheat and use up some filament that I had. didn't really work out for me. What up, Alex? Good morning. Hey, Kegel. Haven't seen you in a while. How are things? Yeah, so that's what I did. I'll upload this remix to printables. The 180 version for a Skelefork does not exist. This will be my contribution. You will need a 300 millimeter bed to print this. I may split it and then upload the split version as well. But a 300 millimeter printer will print this. I printed this on the H2D. It took about, I think, 6 hours to make it. It did. It gave me a little bit more room, about, like I said, about 30 millimeters all the way around. So we have things spaced out a little better. It actually flows a little nicer. There are spaces in between the different boards. One of the other changes I did was swap to the EBB 36 V2. That's why these are not Nighthawk style. A couple of reasons for that. Number one, I ordered a second Nighthawk, but A, I didn't get it in the shipment, or B, I put it somewhere and I have no freaking clue where I put it. I'm in the camp that I didn't get it in the shipment. I think it was missed, but I can't be sure. So before I reach out to that vendor and say, hey, WTF, I want to do my due diligence and make sure I didn't place it somewhere that I'm not finding it. Regardless, I've got a pair of EBB 36 V2s. So that's in there. Something I noticed about it though, pretty cool. There's a voltage in and then a voltage out. So you could daisy chain these with a single 24 volt lead. Can't do that with the Nighthawk. So Nighthawk, each one of them will need 24 volt directly. So that's pretty cool. So not only can I daisy chain these, there's another output here that I can use to power my Pi or power my main board, just with one, continuous chain. I do have the block here that I'm going to use for 24 volt out. So that's what I plan to run to each thing. But you could daisy chain everything with the outlets like that. I didn't know that going into it. So we'll see. Middle of taking the EMS out of your Trident. Why not? Why are you taking it out? Is that because you're just rebuilding it anyway? And I know you're having issues with that build. Been working on your new property. Nice, Kegel. Yeah, we will have a new property here pretty soon. So I guess we should probably talk about that. I told you guys that as soon as I knew where and when I was leaving and moving, I'd let you all know. And if the question comes up later, we'll address it again later. But I get to move to Omaha, Nebraska. So if anyone is in the Omaha, Nebraska area or nearby, I'd love to meet up with you and make new friends in person. But yeah, I'll be doing that. Scheduled to go out there beginning of July. So the first week of July is what I'm shooting for. We'll see if I can make that happen. What that looks like for Midwest Rap Fest is I will not make it there in time. So that fest is in mid-June. I don't get there till first week of July. So I'll miss out on Murph as well. Cornhusker? I guess I am, yeah. Found the 48 volt PSU was failing and causing all the problems for the last year. New PSU won't fit with EMS. What PSU are you using, Alex? These UHPs work pretty well. So there's that one. And then I've also got, there's another one down here. This is that's a 24 volt. So same as this one, but I've got a 48 volt version of this somewhere. This 48 volt version is the same size. Just hoping to meet you at Murph. Yeah, Howie, it'll have to be in 2027. 350. Oh, and it still doesn't fit? What do you mean? Why would that not fit? Alex, have you tried turning it this way? So it's more narrow, but a little bit taller. I believe there's a mount in there to mount two of these back to back vertically like that, so that they are, here, I'll just take it out of the box, so that they're a little thinner, and you can mount two of them in the space of just one. Does that make sense? I believe there are mounts in there for that. So these two bolt together, and then there's a bracket that bolts down into this. New one is the Flex Power X7. Oh, I see. So you're just trying to get a single PSU. These are really good. I like these UHPs, but they are not cheap. You almost get 2 regular power supplies versus one of these. The UHP failed. Ah, my bad. Sorry, man. I haven't been as great a supporter as I should be. I keep missing your streams. But yeah, so that's that. What else? Wiring. I've got some cabling out. This is a 16 gauge here, I believe. 20 gauge. Sorry, 20 gauge. I'm going to use 18 gauge for wiring. What I normally do is I will take a older power cable and just cut it and use the wiring off of that. But we're using 24 volt going to the distro block. So 20 gauge is normally fine for that. You could use 18 if you like. Down here, I've got these spools of 14 gauge. This is what I normally use to provide mains power. But I'm not to that point yet. We'll connect that once we get to our once we get this installed into the frame. We'll connect the mains power here to the I want to say outlet, but that's not correct. The IEC, thank you, the IEC connection here. Figured this out last night. Well, that's how it works, man. Like you think you got it, and then turns out you don't, and then you figure out it's something dumb all along. So definitely been there many times. Kind of there with a different project myself. So reach out if you need anything. All right, let's get going on this one. I've already crimped on a couple of ring terminals. I've mentioned this before on stream, but I like to use the ring terminals when I'm connecting to the PSU because I don't have to worry about this slipping off for any reason. Even if this screw comes loose and, through power cycling or whatever, even if it were to come loose, it's still not going to come off. I do it on both ends, but where it's probably more important is on the mains input side. So once we get to that, we'll use ring terminals on the mains input side as well. I've also got this little bit of a plastic cover on here so that if I do happen to reach in here, there's no way I'm going to be able to touch that mains side. If you don't have this little plastic cover, there are a ton of models out there that you can print that will cover this and protect you from hurting yourself. We want to have fun with printers. We don't want to die from them. Let's get this installed. I think what I'm going to do as well while I have a chance is get my markers out. We'll paint these up a little bit. If it won't be able to come off, will it arc? I don't know what you mean, arc? I mean, I know what arc means, but I don't see how it would arc. I mean, the main side is covered. This side, I guess, could arc if you're, touching both at the same time. But either way, these are the markers that I use to do the Transformer Delta Flyer. And these are just acrylic paint markers. What we can do is use them to paint the top of our screws. So the red one will be our positives. And eventually I'll paint the top of these. I just don't, hold on, I can see, hold on one second. So we can do We can do the top of our boards as well with our inputs here. Just looking at the board markings to get the right voltage. And we can just paint these up. That way we have a good idea of what is where. So when this is installed and things are dark and you can't really see what is what, the paint on the board itself should be able to help you. Sorry if I'm getting my head in here, but it's a little hard to see. I probably should have done this before I installed, but better late than never. But you would rather an arc than a short? Yes. Arc if loose, but not off. Oh, I mean, maybe. There's a plastic piece that's in between the negative and the positive here. So there's not necessarily a way for them to touch, even if they were to come loose. There's still insulators on the end of this that keep them from touching down here. So I'm not really worried about arcing. There's also no other metal or anything in the vicinity. I guess there's a metal motor here. That's why these cutouts are in the corners. But I'm not worried about arcing per se. That guy and this guy here. I'm really happy that we have two extruder powers on that one. Positive, positive, positive. Just double checking that I marked the correct ones. Yep, looks good. You think they're talking about loose wire amp draw causing arc and overheating? Yeah, I'm sure that could be a thing. I mean, and then you end up like projects in Dad's Garage where you're having PSU issues. I mean, I'm not saying that it's ideal. I'm saying that you don't have to worry about the wire coming off completely. So if you're having arcing or that kind of thing, you could go back and check your connections, which should always be the first thing you do when you're double checking. If you're having like electrical issues, you should always double check your wiring connections first before you start doing other stuff. Sometimes it can be a bad crimp. I've had a few of those. Sometimes it can be just poor poor ground. Never had that necessarily, but I've had a couple of times where I thought I was having good wire connection with magnets on clicky, and that just didn't work out. I did not have enough contact with the wire and the magnet, and so that was creating issues. That was a little harder to find. You ever been hit with 440? No, try not to. I try not to while helping install an overhead crane. No, nope. This is about all the electrical that I do. I try to not do try to not do that kind of electrical. All right, so these are gonna split here. I'm gonna do a positive wire to this distro block. So just trying to keep this short but enough. And we'll grab some snips. And give her a little twist. Ooh, I just remembered. I did find... What did I get? Where did I put these things? Oh, here we go. So I did find... And I forget who it was. I think Blam was telling me about these. But these are ferrules that have no insulation on them. And that might be a little hard to see in the light. But these are like barrel connection. So ferrules, like you would see for, I don't know, inserting in the terminal blocks, but these have no insulation on them. And I know they're really hard to see, but they're just these tiny little copper ferrules that are maybe tin coated, I think. Focus camera, you can do it. These cameras updated the other day and they're just having a hard time focusing on anything. 220 is the highest you felt. Ooh. You do high voltage motor starters at work? 1080 and 40. Ooh, good for you, man. There's no way I would be doing something like that. Electrical anything scares the hell out of me. And I say that knowing full well that I want to have so we're considering buying a house at the next location. And when I do that, I'm considering adding in just dedicated circuits, because normally garages only come with like 1 or 2 outlets, and normally both of those outlets are just connected to like a 15 amp breaker, which is not ideal. Because I have so many printers and things like that, I would love to add just dedicated 20 amp circuits, just, you know, for protection and that kind of stuff. But I am so nervous about doing any of that kind of work on my own. And then I'm hesitant to allow anyone else to do it for me. I'm very much a DIY minded kind of person. And so I hesitate to have anyone do anything for me. That's one of my fatal flaws, is I don't like to ask for help. .463 pH. What is pH? Was yours under full load? Gotta love your industry. What is pH? Like I said, I'm not an electrician at all. Phase, gotcha. Okay, phase. That makes sense. I mean, I know that we use 3-phase power on airplanes, but I know that's not a thing in houses. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is, but I don't think so. Because phases come from generators, right? You paid to have your house panel upgraded so your shed can be on 50 amp, a little over 3,000. That's not terrible, Kenny. If you DIY'd it, would it be less? And I'm sure I could figure it out, but it does make me nervous. And I'm really counting on having a garage, which is similar to what I have now, and then also a basement, which would be great, because then we'll have a whole lot of room for activities. 3-phase and normally commercial. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's what I was thinking. You could do the runs and the outlets and hire someone to come in and tie them into the panel. The panel size is the most. Yeah. So Mad Al, that's what I was thinking of, like splitting the difference is to just do it that way. Because running the wiring and connecting all the outlets makes a lot of sense to me. That's basically what we're doing here. Connecting to the panel, man, I'm not trying to play with that. That's Killer's Basement. Maybe we were joking about it, changing the name of the channel to something else. But no, I like the channel name the way that it is. So it'll be the same channel, doing the same sort of content, just different location. Okay, what else do we need here? So that's that. We'll do individual runs over here, and then we'll daisy chain these two, I think. So for this one, I could just cut that and use this as our jumper. So these will go between here. Good morning, wifey sauce. How many more years am I staying? until I hate it, or until before I hate it. I don't want to have to go to work every day and not like what I do. So I'll stay as long as it's fun. That's what we kind of agreed on. Hey, Preston. Good morning. Yeah, we're talking 3D printing and moving around right now. Looking for a screwdriver, a small one, like that. Sounds like I'm fleeing California. Sissy kid, not fleeing California, just going to a new job, changing jobs. So I'm leaving California. I would love to stay here. It's beautiful and there's a lot to do. You can just about anything you would want to do, you can do in California. The cost of living here is a little high. So if you can accept that, then you can accept being here. I don't have a choice though. I got to move for work. Both runs and panel tie-ins. As long as you turn off power to the panel, you shouldn't have a problem doing that side. Yeah, Mad Al, I don't disagree with you. I just don't know enough about it. And electrical is one of those things that I don't like to mess around with. Because if you get it wrong, not only can you hurt yourself or kill yourself, but you can burn your house down. But it would be cool to have some dedicated stuff. Right now, I can't run more than about 4 printers at a time without popping a breaker. But again, those are life goals. Let's see if we get there. Usually, you might want a wire to come off over being loose. Is that if it comes off, it will ground out and trip a fuse. It potentially could ground out. If this wire were to come off, if this wire were to come off right now, it's going to touch plastic. So it may not ground. It may just not work. The reason I might want it to stay on is because then at least it would be intermittent. So it may not ground or any of that. And I don't know that there are fuses inside this power supply. And then only if it touches, the frame or something like that would it ever ground out. Just trying to get these little wires in there. I should have given myself a touch more room in here, but it works out. Let's see if I can get a larger screwdriver. I don't like using the one I'm using right now. I don't have one. That's crazy. Hire someone and watch them do it, and then you'll know how. That's who you learn. I mean, yeah, always, right? I don't see myself doing this more than once, though. I'm gonna do like everybody else, just watch a ton of YouTube about it, and then I'll be an expert, right? Isn't that how it works? And to be clear, these did come with some extra wiring. The EBB came with a bunch of extra wiring. So there are USB cables in here. There is, what is this, 20 gauge maybe? It's not labeled very well. Hold on. 16 gauge. So it came with 16 gauge wire. We're using 18? 20. Yeah, we're using 20, which should be fine. It's 24 volt, so that's perfect. using something higher power. So maybe we'll use this for the PSU itself. Nothing wrong with the 20 gauge that we're using. It's a little easier to work with. If you end up within 6 hours of you, fix you up on pen work. Hey, I appreciate that, Howie. Where are you located? I'll be in Omaha. Loctite the screws. There you go. Just Loctite it. Put some fingernail polish on there. 4 circuits for 12 outlets in your garage. Howie, that's exactly what I'm looking at. I would love to have 3 or 4 additional 20 amp circuits. With all the printers you built, you're practically an expert. Same idea, different amp and voltage. Okay. Yeah, but I'm not dealing with a lot of mains. I don't do a lot of mains and panel wiring. I have no idea what code looks like for a house, that kind of thing. Become expert printer builders from watching me build. Aw, I love you back. Breakfast of Champions, cheese puffs, and Mountain Dew. I love it. My go-to is protein shakes, peanut butter, and apples. That's what I like. Morning, Reth. We're finishing wiring on the EMS system here. So I've got all the electronics laid out. We're just doing all the connections we can do before I drop this in the printer itself. I think Reth and I are going to link up here pretty soon again. Try to come and see you one last time before we get out of here. Peanut butter, apples, especially good with a good tart apple. Yeah. I love Granny Smith. They're just not very common where I'm at. You can find them, but I like apples to be crispy. And the Granny Smiths that we have gotten here are not as crispy. So I try not to eat those. Gala apples, I don't like those either. They're too soft. I've been partial to Honeycrisp and Pink Lady apples. And even sometimes Pink Ladies will get a little, I don't want to say mushy, but less soft than crispy. Honeycrisp, yeah, they are. I agree. Just trying to give myself a little bit of slack here in case we need it. So just a little service bend in there. And trying to strip off about 11 millimeters. If you ever lose that that measurement, if you look at the side of your Wago, so this is your Wago. These are the little connectors that I'm using right now. You've seen these before. Focus on me. Come on, camera. There you go. So you get the little Wago. On the side of this, there is a set of numbers. Maybe not that side. Here you go. You'll see there's an 11 with some arrows. That will tell you how much insulation you should strip from your wire. So if you use a different brand or a bigger size or whatever it is, take a look at the side of that and it'll tell you. Once you do it a few times, you'll have a good idea of what 11 millimeters looks like. It doesn't have to be exact, but you can get there. And then realistically, you can just use the edge of this as your measurement tool. Hold your wire up to the edge. I've already connected it. Okay. Hold your wire up to the edge and then strip from there. Cosmic Crisp. I've not heard that. I have tried Fuji apples. I don't like those either. I don't know if it's just the apples we're getting out here or what, but not all of them are crunchy. They're a little more soft. I'm talking like really crunchy. Pink Lady, your favorite? Right now, they're my favorite too. I've even sort of painted the ends of these so that I know positive, negative at least. I will go back later and do like a 24-volt label on top of here so that I'm very clear that this is 24 volt. It's the only distro block that I have, so it's probably overkill to do that. But just trying to keep labeling good. I mean, what else would it be, right? It's not going to be 48 volt. We don't have the room for that. And it would not be very useful in such a tiny machine. There's no kill like overkill. Correct. Correct. I mean, this printer's already over the top. Let's be honest. Doing a Mad Max on a salad fork, it's already over the top. All right, tug test says we're good. And there's our first connection. And then, like I said, we can just bridge these two. So I just need a short length of black wire to crisscross here. This is very much like what LDO does on their Leviathan board. They have a, so you have the Leviathan made board, and then there's an add-on expansion module. But there are two terminals, one on either board, that are connected with a very short piece of, I guess, tinned copper bar, like a jump bar. I haven't been able to find those independently. I didn't know what they were for at first, so I just kind of tossed them. And then my board wouldn't work. And I was like, what in the heck? Why is this not working? And then I realized that they needed to connect through the terminal block. And then I didn't have those bus pins or those bus bars anymore. And so I was kicking myself over that. But I know now, don't throw your bus bars away. You actually do need them for things and stuff. But that's basically what we're doing right now, is making bus bars with wire. Hope Clint does not go out early. And next, whatever's death races, sudden impact came out pretty cool. I don't know what any of that stuff is. What is sudden impact, like a game? Like a video game? Sorry, I don't do a lot of video games and that kind of thing. 3D printing is already a hobby that takes up a lot of my time. My other main hobby is working out, like training and stuff. So between those two and the job that I do, I don't have a lot of time to sit around and play video games. Hey, Wick Central, good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. You didn't know they could run the Gen 2 US Born series. I didn't know that either, Petty. But there is an in, there's an out. So if I feed 24 in, I can put 24 out. Why not daisy chain? It's just my thought process. If it doesn't work out, we know why. So go ahead and clip this, clip where we are, and if it doesn't work out, you can yell at me about it. it does make sense. So if I can do, oh, that one's not in there. Loosen you up. Hold on, let's get some tweezers in here. This one's really small and tight to get in. You're out here in the middle? Yeah, me too. Well, soon enough I'll be in the middle. Just doing a tug test on these because that one came out. Okay, those look better. But yeah, Petty, to kind of look at this, I'm thinking 24 volt in, 24 out, so we can daisy chain here, and then it's the same on this one. So this could potentially just go to your main board or to your Pi or whatever you're using to power. I would probably do main board, and it just keeps things very clean. So these two boards theoretically could just be here in the center, and then we can run a chain right to our main board and be good to go. We would just slide that over a little bit. Yeah. If I'm wrong, somebody tell me, but I don't think I'm wrong. I've not looked at any of the documentation, though. I'll be very clear to tell you that I'm doing things based on what I think I know, not what I actually know. Sudden Impact is 80s Dirty Harry movie. Clint Eastwood. Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Sudden Impact's the name of your death racer. Love it. Is it a Dirty Harry themed? Need Down Undermaker here to confirm the use of running in this manner. Yeah, I think we're a little early for Down Undermaker, though. Phil is, I think, 13 hours different. So he's looking at like an 8 p.m. right now. 8 or 9 p.m. for him. What else? Pi power, board power. Pi power is pretty straightforward, just comes right across. It's one of the benefits of running the CB2, or what are they calling this? The Pi V1.2, is it'll accept 24 volts without having to have a converter or without having to use something like a Manta. So a Manta would be the most ideal because everything is consolidated, but the board's a little bigger. And if you're going to do separate like I am, the Pi is probably the better choice because you can just get rid of the converter that you would need. That one, and we'll do one more here. Is this going to be inverted electronics? Jeff, it will be. It will be inverted electronics on a salad fork. Just making sure I didn't miss anything. Are we done yet? Almost, Liz. We were waiting for you to get here first. And then we'll be almost done. Have you seen touchscreen lagging and unresponsiveness with the V1.2? I don't know. I have not used a touchscreen and this 1.2 before. You're good. You're making coffee. I missed Wexter Day yesterday, Liz. I was we were hanging out. Me and my daughters were hanging out. We went to see the Mario movie, and so I didn't get to participate in Wexter Day. How'd it go? Hopefully, it was a good turnout. Might see if I can go back and watch the VOD if he did that sort of thing. You have that issue on your Trident. Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. I do not plan to run a touchscreen on this build. This will be a headless build, just to keep the front of the machine clean. And if I needed to do anything like that, I would probably just use a K-Touch. Sorry, not a K-Touch. What's this called? This thing. The standalone Big Tree Tech screen. So this is what's this called? There's not a name on it. I forget. Panda Touch. Panda Touch. So this can control several printers at a time, and it's standalone. So it just works on Wi-Fi. Doesn't do all the things that a clipper screen would do, but gives you enough to be able to start, stop, and monitor your prints or whatever. And then you can swap between different machines. So I just have this sitting up on the desk, and this is what I do to monitor when I'm printing on some of my non-bamboo machines. Went well. Missed some due to you being asleep. Well, it turns out you have to sleep from time to time. I did see your photos from Graceland, though. It looked like a fun trip. I've not been to Graceland. You were told by Steve that people have seen this with these. Okay. Yeah, I don't have experience to say yay or nay on that one. This is the first time I'm using this board. Hey, Kenneth Davis. What'd you miss? Hey, John Doe. Good morning. We're just talking about moves, talking about electronics a little bit. And Liz was telling us how great Wexter Day was yesterday. Off to make coffee and kids breakfast. Have a good stream. Thanks, dear. See you later. I'll be in a couple hours. We're about an hour in, so reminder for the filament giveaway. If you guys want to try out some LDO filament, the link is in the pinned chat. So just go up there and fill out the forms. Got to be US only, so keep that in mind. Okay, so 1, 2, good. Pi is good. Let's get this insulation out of here. All right, tug test, everything feels fine. Okay, one more to our main board here. And then we'll do one to our Pi. Oh, sorry, our SSR. So it looks like bed DC in is this third set of terminals, so the exact middle of the board. This is actually the fun part. I like doing this more than I like doing most other things on the build. Wiring is very just cathartic. You can just kind of lock in, focus. What is the wire stripper? It is a tool that you can find at West 3D. It's a gun, like a handle style, so it's a little more ergonomic. There's this other style that I prefer less. I might have tossed it. Yeah. I moved it to the other toolbox, but there's another style that works like this, but your wire goes on top. This is just, I can get at it straight, so I do that. There's also the kind where you pinch and have to do this thing. This is what I prefer. You can find it for like 20 bucks at West 3D. Looks like it works pretty well. Does it have a good length stop? It does. It'll go from 0 inch to 3/4 of an inch, anywhere from gauge 32 to 7, and then I guess basically 1 millimeter to 20 millimeters. Driving 30 minutes to meet up with Klondike, chatting on 3DHP stream yesterday. Nice. Nice. Still looking to see if anybody is in the Nebraska area, somewhere around Omaha. Trying to make connections in that area. I don't know why. I just feel like the Midwest has all the folks that do this kind of thing. Out where I'm at, there's a couple of folks, but not very many that I'm in contact with. And then not to mention, it's so far of a drive to get to anyone. I know there's one or two folks in Los Angeles. There's another couple folks about an hour from me. Maybe 6 hours from you, Captain Current? Okay. Well, I mean, is that what, Kansas City? Is that where you are? Six hours is kind of a lot. Dead east. I got you. Okay. That's not too bad. Let me move this one over. See if that'll reach. We can have a more direct line for the main board into this. Yeah, that'll work just fine. Let's do that. And that way I can use these center two for this one. Let's do it about there. Four hours from you. Oh, cool. Northeast Colorado. Okay. Stepbrother lives in Omaha. All right. In the summers. Okay. Yeah, that's where I'm at. So we'll see if we can get a little community. It'd be really great to meet some other folks and hang out and meet some folks. 3 hours from you. Okay. Still get to Micro Center. Yeah. John, we may have to do a Micro Center meetup. I definitely plan to go there. Not all the time, but maybe once every few weeks. That's a whole day. It's like what, 3 hours to get down there. It's a 6 hour round trip just to go. Yeah, well, that'll have to get planned out. Cha 3D printing, 4 hours from Omaha. Nice. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of folks in the Midwest, just not directly where I'm at. Micro Center for some $4,000 DDR5. I got some $5,000 DDR5 in the PC in the house. I didn't know it was an investment when I bought it. I may pull it out, put the 4 back in there, DDR4 back in there, and just make a profit. Flipping RAM. Cool. All right, and then we can go from the bed out over to here. Let's see if there's room. Can I slip that under the board? No, not with that bracket. A lot of times I'll go from the connection, I'll go under a board over here. That way it just kind of hides the wiring and keeps it a little clean. But with the bracketry on this EMS system, it doesn't allow for that on this particular mount. So I'll have to come back around. The other cool thing is you could zip tie to any points on this grid, but then also there are insertable zip tie mounts, although they don't stay in very well. You definitely have to, what do I do with them? What do I do with those? Anyway, we'll show you one. So this is not a zip tie mount, but it's like this. It just has, you know, a couple of holes in here for zip ties. You can definitely install these in here. The issue is that these don't stay in. They fall right out, so you do need to glue them in. You can hot glue, you could super glue, whatever makes sense for you. I don't plan to change this too much, and if I did, I would just reprint things. So I may super glue some zip tie points in here at a later date. That way we can secure the wiring a little bit. We'll see how it works out. The other option is to print some wire ducts. Right here might be a good place for a wire channel, but there's not really room anywhere else for that kind of stuff. So instead of just printing one, that would look okay. I may not print any. We'll see. I'm on the fence. We'll see what I do. If you drive direct to KC, it's 3 hours. You're padding the time a bit. So you put ferrules and wires going into the Wagos. Do you ever find it gets into the plastic insulation? Gets into the plastic insulation. You have to expand on that. I'm not sure what you mean. Anybody seen an update on Delta Flyer replacement build plates? I have not. I have not. Can you not find them on AliExpress or something like that, Sissy Kid? I think they're a, what, a 180? 150. 150. Is there nothing generic on AliExpress for you? Skip selling a kidney for emergency fund. Cam cards are pricey. You picked up a 256 for your Nikon. Oh, wow. Yikes. Clamps the insulation, not makes connection. Or do you have long ferrules? I have, so these ferrules are, let's see if it tells me how long these are. I think they are 10 millimeter long. And that's about what I'm stripping off to put in here. So it almost matches the recommended 11 millimeters that's listed on the side. So I've not had an issue with this. I think you mean like continuity wise, like it's crimping on the insulation of the wire versus on the ferrule of the wire. I've not had that happen to me before, but I assume it could. I can imagine that it could. Took an SSR, mounted it to a narrow heat sink, mounted it sideways on that EMS mount system, still clears the bottom panel of the micron. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Yeah, because this mount I didn't care for a lot. You need long button head M4s, which is not a normal thing as part of like a boron bomb. Usually they're button head 6 millimeter in length. These I had to find out of my stash. These are, I think, 10 or 12, and then you have to put nuts on there. And I couldn't get the socket down in there, so you need a thin wall, long socket to be able to get in there. What I did is get some needle nose and try to crank that nut down as much as I could. So if you have a better mount, I would love to see it. Maybe that's more on the larger Wagos for automation panels and controls. Yeah, it could be. Wife came in the office, read your cam post, and just looked at you. Yeah, Wix Central. If you have a link for that, I would love to see it. I'd consider a different way of mounting things, especially if I can add a heat sink. That would be better always. Yeah, I have a cam. I'll be honest. I plan to use it for streaming in the new setup. I got this one here. It's of course, it has to be white. It's a Sony DX. What was this? Oh, sorry, DZ E10-2. So I got this one. Have never used it for anything, but I do want to put this in the new streaming setup. I just don't have a tripod, so I have to find a big tripod and all that kind of stuff. But eventually, we'll have a better setup than we do. You can DM what you did. Need to open your micron today anyway. Sort out an RPI. Cool, I appreciate it. Look at JSR Industries. Hey, Kittrell. Kittrell, you gonna make it to Rocky Mountain this year? I will not see you, unfortunately. Oh, that's right. We got Rocky Mountain in just a few days. Hopefully you guys are finishing up your projects. I have to miss out this year. I'm leaving on Sunday to go to a class. So I won't be able to go. Not for you this year either. That sucks. I think we had a good time last year. I'm sad I don't get to go. Heater bed is this final one here. Hey, Trident lives. What was it? Just replacing the PSU, Alex? And then once you did that, it's good to go? You did that really fast. Okay. Pull this over here. And then we'll bring it back and split like that. Yeah, that and redoing all the wiring again. Well, sometimes you got to do it, man. Okay, let's get our marker back. I just put it away too. That's annoying. Mark all these terminals while I'm remembering it. So for this Panasonic, the positive is on the right. Just mark that dude like that. Looking at Denver Airport on Google Map, runways look like... Yeah. I guess I never noticed. But I haven't looked at the airport. But, you know, sometimes things happen. Just want to see what size these are. Because I have two types of terminals here. I got this giant bag to do all the Mad Max stuff. It came in a 100-piece kit for like $2. I don't need 100 of these. They're a very specific size and thickness that I would only really ever use for Mad Max because a lot of M3 hardware doesn't fit through. Turns out that this does, so we will go with it, but I don't see very many other uses for these ring terminals. So just taking a look at the tool head to show you guys. So the tool head will use 2 ring terminals here, where my fingers are. This camera will focus a little bit. There we go. I just pulled the insulation off those ring terminals, crimped some 28 gauge for the wiring, and then that runs up through the tool head here. But this is the Mad Max. I've got the carriage here. We need to install that one. One thing I'm a little bit worried about is adding on the heat inserts. The instructions tell you to drill out a few heat inserts and then add them to the top of these pins. Never done that, but we'll see how that is going to work out. Because I'm worried, like, how do they stay on? I don't understand how they stay on. But we'll figure it out as we get there. Yeah, I feel like I'm very close with this build. Like we're almost there. Wiring is pretty simple on something like this. And so really what I need next is to add the carriage to the printer, do some belting. And then we got like firmware and stuff like that. The instructions also say to get it working with a single tool head before you add this second. And so once we get a working, for all intents and purposes, normal salad fork, then we can add that second one and get our tool changer going. There we go. Okay, so like that. Red is positive, that goes on the right. Yeah, this Panasonic SSR is really actually pretty nice. I've not used one before, but just the quality of something like that versus something like this is night and day. I do like the cover on this one. It covers the whole thing instead of just the bad side. But just the quality of the hardware and stuff on the Panasonic is so much nicer. So we may have to go that route for future builds. All right. 3D printed cover? Yeah, absolutely. I definitely will. Definitely will. We'll just have to do that after stream because I didn't think about it. It's too distracted with the grid itself. Basically, I had to rebuild this. We built the electronics last week. At least we put it on the grid last week, and then afterwards, I went and laid it up against the printer, and that's when I noticed that it was too small. And so I spent the next 4 hours ish, I think, designing this one, and then another day and a half printing 3 iterations of it. Morning, Gerg, man. All right, I think that's probably the wiring. We could do some USB connections. That's another reason I wanted to use the larger Pi, is that I have 4 USB ports here instead of just 2 that I would get um, on a Manta. So I think these cables are probably not ideal. I'd prefer some shorter ones. So I've got these shorties here. This, I guess, is about the same as far as length. It's a touch shorter, but it's also got the 90-degree bend on there, so it'll allow me to get into like this space where I can just snake this under and get into here. Come on. There we go. And that 90-degree can kind of fold around behind this. And we can do a loop here. And then this will connect right down at the bottom. Let's go loop the other way. So this goes down, so we go like that. And I think I have one more that's like this. Buy them in a pack, right? These 90-degree connections. Jeez, I made a whole mess. Now the stuff won't fit back in the drawer. Too many cables. I gotta go through those. You saw that a dull moment for sure. Hope you feel better. You look really tired yesterday. Me? Oh, Gergman, sorry. I'm always tired. Always tired. Should I come between here? No, go this way. I'm trying to think about down the road, like how I want things to lay out. So some of this is just, I got to keep it inside the frame, right? If it's inside the frame, it'll be inside the printer itself. It is wiring, so, or I'm sorry, USB cables, so it'll be fine. We can move things around as we need to, but I want to try to keep it tight. These cables are a little thick. They don't like to flex as easily as others. Don't know what he's talking about. You're living the dream. Sometimes dreams are nightmares too, though. Don't disagree with you. No matter what you do, you're going to have days where you don't want to do it. Sorry, getting a bunch of Discord messages. Okay. USB cables installed, wiring installed. Probably need one cable from here to here. That is ridiculous. I can't believe I did that. Look how close those are right there. Like, how are we supposed to connect that? We'll use one more to go from here to here. We'll have them connect over USB. I don't know that that one's going to work, though. We'll probably need a 90-degree in there. You can always find shorter cables, angled cables, things like that. Amazon has everything you need. Snort. Okay. So for this one, I'm probably going to go under here. We'll go this way with our 90-degree cable. Oh, that's tight. Let's see if I can get that in there. There it is. Thanks, John, for the chat. It's a lot of cables. Not as pretty looking as I would like it to be, but it is dangerously effective. Send me an Amazon link. Yep, got it. Appreciate you. For DIY USB connectors, that will be useful. Yep, thank you. Got it. Let's take a look at that after stream. Okay, I think that's about all we need to do for that. I probably won't do a camera on here because that's just going to create complexity in the build. And I don't know that I really want a camera on this machine. I don't know how much we would see. So headless, cameraless, should be fine. Okay, that is that. I'm not sure we're going to be able to do too much more without this being installed in the machine. Yeah, I may bench test this. So just cut the end off of a power cable and connect those directly here, and then plug that in. That'll give us power to all the things. We could do our firmware and all that stuff. I don't know that I have any firmware loaded on this guy. Where's my USB-C? Trying to find my SD card port on the Pi here. I'm not seeing that at all. Thought maybe it was on the bottom. Oh, there it is, right there. Whew. Thought I had blocked access. It's right here below this port. Send me a link to a heatsink. Cool. Appreciate it. Yeah, guys, send me links. I'll check out whatever you send. Okay, so one thing I do want to do, all of these connections for this board are set to voltage in. I'm going to move them to 5 volts just in case we install a different fan that we don't blow anything up. And as we install them, we'll double check, reduce the voltage if needed, and be good to go. So drivers are installed, heatsinks are installed, all the fan voltages are on 5 volt. That way we don't break anything. What else? Should be it. That should be it. Cool. Let's I'm not sure I'm going to be able to install this in the printer today. I think I have forgotten. So at the back here, there are 2 mounting points for M3 nuts. I don't think those nuts are in the frame. Same for this forward portion. This side looks good. This side is also good, I believe. But then I think I'm short one because for the DIN rail mounts that mount to the frame and support underneath. So these will mount to the frame on the left and the right here. And I only have enough to put these 2 uprights plus 1 of these blocks. So I need 2 more T-nuts. Oh, sorry, not T-nuts. 2 more M3s in here like that, because I need 6 and I think I have 4 either side. So I'm going to have to take that frame apart before I can install this. And then I also need 2 in the front, 2 in the back as well. So I'm not going to be able to drop this in the printer today. So I think what we do now is take a look at belting and see if I can do that. One of the downsides to having a 1515 printer build. Morning, Havoc. What'd you miss? We just did Physitech EMS electronics setup. We're going to transition over to putting the motion system on here. Let me get the camera angle right for you all. Move this a little bit. Sorry, we'll try not to make you sick. All right. Woo! All right, let's grab this. Try to zoom you out a little bit. How about there? Definitely excited for a new studio setup. I'll do my best to stay out of your way, but I think you have a good shot at our gantry here. I also forgot to do M3 nuts in the top of these Y rails, so the backers that I have, I can't install them because I got too excited and forgot to put the no drop nuts in there. So we have the backers for a salad fork, but I have no way to put them on because I did not put the things in the frame. So bad on me. And then that one would go there. So that's what you missed. I got to get that going. I think that's about it. I think that's all you missed. So we could do that, or we could do nudge. I still need to build the nudge for the front. We get the parts printed. It'll install here, and we'll use that for nozzle probing. Okay. Let's do this. So in the instructions, it talks about how to build this thing. And then once you build it, it has you build the tool head plates as well. So these match as a pair, and it's pretty strong grip on that. Then you transition back to your carriage and these pins specifically. These pins are supposed to have M3 heat inserts on the top so that they're, I guess, a little bit easier to grab. I didn't do that yet, so I need to do that as well. So things move well. We built the gantry quite a few weeks ago, probably 2 months ago, on a member stream. But things move fine. We do have pins in all of the XY joiners. Hey LTX, thanks for coming in, man. May hit you up for some panels here in like 2 months. Give you a little time to get settled. I know you just moved the whole operation, so letting you know ahead of time. Probably gonna reach out for panels. Cool. I'm still trying to decide what to do here. Yeah, I think because I need to disassemble the frame anyway, it doesn't make sense to belt things right now. Because both of these uprights need to come out so that I can access this bottom extrusion to be able to slide T-nuts in there. And I got to do that for both sides and front and back. So at a minimum, these two fronts need to come off. And then eventually I have to take the back off as well to add 2 more nuts in there. Yeah. All right. So it doesn't make sense to do any gantry build. Let's do nudge. Let's do nudge right now. We've got our parts. Let me move the camera. Move you down. And take it in. Wrong way. Let's go this way. Something like that. I have a gift for coming from me for your new studio. Aw. From one aviator. Thanks, Kenny. I appreciate it. That's very nice of you. Thank you. I'll make sure to reciprocate in some way. All right, so let's do some nudge stuff. I believe I have everything I need. It's what, some magnets, some screws, some wire. Let's take a look at what we need to do here. So this is what's left over from uh, Mad Max. Man, words are hard today. Mad Max. So this is the back plate for any tool head that you want to use, either ant head or A4T. You could also use mini stealth burner. And so this is that carriage. I've done all this stuff here. Where I left off was the test and then thread locking the Maxwell screws. So I need to take things apart. I wanted to make sure it all lined up and measured well before I Loctite. So I need to do that. And then these pins and belt clips. So as part of the gantry, I need to do this as well. And this is kind of where I'm at for a stopping point. So over here is nudge. And these are basic tools that you'll need. So drill bit, multimeter, that kind of stuff, and Allen drivers. Steam Deck XL. Oh, wow. Nice. Thanks, man. Yeah, I've been looking at an XL for a while. I've got a mini. Mine's a 6-button, so an XL would be fan-freaking-tastic. Reach out to me. I'll get you a good address. Thank you so much. Let's see. First, choose the mount type for your printer. I've already printed, let's see, the 1515 low because it says that it's for the Tri-Zero Pandora and Pandora's box, which are sort of like a salad fork in the sense that they have a moving bed. So this is the one that I printed, the low. I did print the high version just in case it doesn't work out. So I do have the other version. It's just, you know, a few grams of plastic. It's not too bad. But I just wanted to be prepared. Okay. Right here it says choose the wobbler type with tight 3mm or 5mm slip fit holes. I don't remember which one I printed, but I printed a few of those as well. I wish they were labeled. I should have added on some text in the slicer, but I do have a couple of wobblers. I'm not sure which one is which. I want to say I printed the M3 version, but I don't know. And I don't know how to tell. We could trade. The XL is overkill. Okay, yeah, let's do it up. I'll give you my 6-button. That works for you. Wobbler, 2 sizes, tight M3 or 5mm slip foot holes. If you have 6 to 8mm of available over travel, you'll want the narrowest probe target choice, M3 pin. I don't know how much over travel I have because we don't have a working gantry yet. Beyond 8, any target choice will work fine. M3 or M5 pins are preferred for ease of sourcing, however, many other choices. Okay. I don't think I'm going to do the internally threaded dowel. I would prefer to do the M5 pin. This one looks like it is a... I don't know, they're different. This is the M5 one. This is the threaded pin one, maybe? Because there's a very small hole that is too small for an M3 pin. So maybe I printed all 3 because I wasn't sure. I just don't know where the other one is. One of these boxes. I have 2 boxes of parts. All right, we're going to use the M5 version. Cool. So I got that. Probe target length. It depends. Great. Spacer height, bed height, all that stuff. Good for them. I have an idea here. So I got the CAD model uploaded in Fusion Viewer, or sorry, our Autodesk Viewer, and we can measure in here. So if you're like me and your computer is not strong enough to run the full version of Fusion, what you can use instead is the web-based version called Autodesk Viewer. As long as you have an Autodesk account, you'll be able to log into the viewer in your browser and then load in any step file that you would prefer, and works just like Fusion with a lot less limitations. And so you can't necessarily model anything in here, but you can look at things in here. So if you're just using CAD for a reference, this is one of my favorite ways to do that because I can't change anything. I can turn stuff on and off. For example, we can, deselect the electronics and hide some of that stuff. Like the Z-axis, I can get rid of it, but I'm not going to model anything. Specifically, the measurement tool comes in handy. So I got my little ruler out and grab the edge. Sorry, let's do the edge of the top of the bed here. So I can grab top of the bed to where I assume the nudge is being measured from. So it's about 14.5 millimeters. And then you have another layer for your magnet and then another layer for your PEI sheet. So the sheet's probably about 0.5 millimeter. That's kind of standard for steel sheets. And then your magnet is roughly 3 millimeters. To get a better idea, you could measure all that stuff. I just don't have mine super handy right now. What did I do with it? It's kind of back here. Yeah, so about a 3 millimeter magnet sheet. So if 14.5 is my number, I'm going to add 3.5 to that. I'll get 18 millimeters. All right. Generally, a longer pin is better as it reduces the forces experienced, which reduces belt stretch effects. For floating and indexed mounts, anything 35 plus should be fine. All right, we are using the indexed mount. Index just means it has this additional rib here so that it can align to the extrusion itself. And so a 35 millimeter pin should be fine. I definitely have pins around in various lengths. Ideal position is top of the probe, 1 millimeter above the print surface to provide space to trigger, but not low enough to catch on the tool head as it moves near the edge of the bed. All right. Measure from the top of the bed flex plate to the bottom of the mount. Okay. Bottom of mounting extrusion and 15 high. Okay, that's a little bit confusing. So let's measure from here to the bottom of this. What happened? Our whole thing just went away. I don't know what happened there. All right, so let's delete some of this stuff. All right, so from here to there, 29.2, and then we said about 3.5 for the magnet and whatnot. So maybe somewhere around 33.5. So a 35 millimeter pin is probably going to work for us. Hey, Bearded Bucket. Good morning. It can be chopped or ignored if you don't intend to completely max out your Z. I probably won't completely max out my Z. I believe I have all the parts, screws, nuts, magnets, M3, copper. Yep, got it. Printed all the stuff. There's a video to show you how to do it. I watched that yesterday. It's pretty quick, 6-minute video. Not too bad. All right, do the build. Find a 2-pin JST plug for use when adding the pins. Prep the parts. All right, let's do some of that. Let's prep. So because of donations for the channel, and because you guys are awesome and always subscribe and like and those kinds of things, I was able to get a set of reamers to be able to ream out holes. So that one looks pretty good. And it's saying gently, oh man, my whole head's in the way. Sorry, guys. Prep the part. Gently clear the central wobbler hole for the pin using a drill bit or a reamer. All right, that's a 5 millimeter pin down the center of here. This is what they call the wobbler. And so the hole there is also a 5. Got a 5 millimeter reamer, again, because People are awesome. I was able to get this whole set for pretty cheap. They are oily as anything though, to keep them from rusting most likely. So let's get a extra piece of towel here. So much oil. Let's find our 5.
Thanks for the sub.
What is this one? There's our 5.
Thanks for the sub.
Intense Wiggling. Thank you so much. Bearded Bucket gifting out memberships. Awesome, dude. Thank you so much. We got a whole bunch of new channel members now.
Thanks for the sub.
So Bearded Bucket gave away 5 memberships. And now we have Holtz Garage, Zachary Stanton, Layer by Layer, TMYCR, and Intense Wiggling all became members thanks to Bearded Bucket. Thank you, sir. And you know what? Let me reciprocate. I think I have some memberships I can give away as well. Let's see.
Thanks for the sub.
Let's do 5 new memberships. Make some folks some members. I'm getting about halfway through the month, so why not? Stuart Fisher now. And Frazedo. Let's see. RH3D, Red Fox Squirrel, and MG Longshot. Welcome to the channel. New members. It's a bunch of older content for you if you want to go back and watch some of that stuff. Reamers are super useful. Also, there's a 3D printed case that is nice. John, there's always a 3D printed something.
Thanks for the sub.
I really should do better about printing stuff in things. If you have a suggestion, I will take it. Just drop me a link. You know how to get in contact with me. So we'll ream out our wobbler there. I think this is the same. Yeah, so that's a little larger. That should be fine. But yeah, a case. I need a case for my reamers. I need a case for, what else? So I have Gridfinity down here in the toolbox. It works well. I probably need to print some more stuff though.
Thanks for the
I just keep dropping stuff in here without really thinking about it. The one I use most is my M3, so I just have this in a little hand tap. All right, so that should be good to go. Post it in stream chat. Awesome, thank you so much. Install the magnets. Set your convention with a different magnet alloy screw mark on the stack. We got 3 magnets in there. Okay. I remember something in the bomb itself, in the bill of materials, that talked about using lighter strength magnets. So I just want to show that to you guys too. So bunch of different like normal stuff here, magnets and 3 screws, button heads, cap heads, all that kind of stuff. But one thing that stood out to me was that it must be basic magnets, not M52 magnets. So whatever N35 is, so a little less magnetic attraction. I don't know what the rating is on a lot of the magnets that I have. I have a crap ton of these 6x3s. I don't know what the rating are on those. I only know that the rating on the ones I used in Mad Max itself are N52 because the bag is labeled as such. So I'm just making the assumption that the other 6x3s I have, these generic ones that are not labeled very clearly, I'm just making an assumption that those are N53 because I honestly do not know. I hope it doesn't matter, but we'll see. My nudge doesn't work. Take note, it's because I use magnets that are not ideal. Nozzle clog, what's up, man? Let me get back down to the instructions here. Let's get some more of these magnets. Got so many of these. All right, in the wobbler, I'm just putting in magnets, okay? So the way that you can do it is you can use a stack of them like so, and then use that to kind of press in there. and try to make it not stick to itself anymore. We want these to be all one way. So all of them the same as far as I can tell from the instructions, right? So once you get them in there good enough, one thing I like to do is get my parallel draws out and set that correctly so I can grab onto the part and just make sure they go in all the way flush. If they need to be below flush, what you can do is just add another magnet on top. Just take one of these off. Add another one on top. That'll give you some height. You'll probably have to adjust your pliers. And then you can use one magnet to press the other one in a little further if that's the case. So just a little tip for you. Cool. And then it says to mark these so that you know what is what. So I'm going to get a little black Sharpie out here. We'll make these. We'll do a little black Sharpie on the top. Push down hard against flat surface, securely without glue. Got it. And then it says we move on to the mount. So flip the magnet direction. Same thing, push hard, repeat for all three. When it says flip the magnet direction, what it means is that you're going to have opposing magnets. So right now, these oppose one another. It pushes, it doesn't want to stick. And then, you know, attracting would make it stick together. And I remember from the video that as this goes in, it clips into each other. So I believe they want to attract each other. So an easy way to do that, just to be sure, you can put your magnets on here. And then use your wobbler to put these into the other part. Just line up the holes. And then if it's being a butt like mine, you can get your pliers out and do some other stuff. Hey, Steve, good morning. I know you're not streaming today, and when we found that out, we were very sad. Because now we don't have anybody to raid into. If I can get this distance right, here we go. Use one part to press into the other part. That way we guarantee that they're going to attract. So once we're good, we could kind of pull these apart and then use the tool to press them in the rest of the way. Like so. Now we have all 6 magnets in. Should be good to go there. Put this here. All right. Got our parts. Keep losing my mouse. All right, next we're going to build the wobbler. We did the magnets already. I'm sorry, the mount, we did the magnets. Test that the 2 parts mate if you get the wrong direction. Use the access holes, the tiny Allen key to evict. I love that word, to evict the magnets and try again. Yeah, ours are good to go. They attract, no issues there. Build the wobbler. Push an M3 button head into the easy start. Form threads until fully tightened. Repeat for all 3 button head cap screws. I believe that's talking about these holes here on the edges. So it said M3 by 6 button heads. Let's grab some of those. Cool. And then these kind of just go into here, get it started a little bit. Yeah, watching the video yesterday before doing this helped out because it gives you a pretty decent understanding of what you should be doing. Risky. Never let those magnets fly towards each other. They are brittle. Well, Steve, I like to live on the edge, man. So tighten until it says they are fully tightened. So into plastic, that means basically when the screw stops turning easily and there's no gap between the plastic and the head, that you're done. So don't continue to tighten. You could crack and or deform your threads there, and then your screw won't be as secure as it should be. Okay. Good to go there. Push for tension, screw nut fully into the bottom of the wobbler. Okay, so, oh, here. Okay, it's like, what retention screw nut? All right, so this is a slotted hole. Let's push that guy in there. Use the table. It's supposed to go flush here. All right, we're gonna get the pliers out. So don't tighten until it cracks and back out a quarter turn. I mean, if you want to reprint your parts to get some practice, go for it. I have definitely reprinted parts before. These ducts, I've had to print these ducts before. The retaining screws at the top here are very thin at the top of the plastic where things are printed. And because they're so thin, it cracked on me. So I had to reprint those twice. Okay, that guy should be in there. Let's make sure the hole is lined up. Looks good. Okay. Insert and fully tighten the retention screw, but not enough to block insertion of the probe. All right. It doesn't tell me what size screw that should be, so I guess it's going to be a little trial and error. Try this. This is a 10. I think anything that can go and secure against the pin but doesn't stick out too far and allows you some adjustment is fine. 10 seems to work fine on this one. Add the probe target, either the pin or the screw. That the 5mm pin will be tight with the magnets. So if adjusting the pin upwards, hold the magnets in place or push them back down after. What are we saying? Some of the language is difficult to understand. Add probe target, either pin or screw. Note that the 5mm pin will be tight with the magnets. Okay. This is where we need our M5 by 35 pin. Is that what we're looking for? So this is a bag of like what I'm calling my Mad Max stuff. I just used the salad fork bag. So this is all the copper hardware you need for it. There's some other random stuff in here. What else? Tubes and pins and things. Some more pins here. Nothing is a 35 though, so I don't know that that was the right bag. Let me get some pins out. Let me find my pins. Oh. Here we go. Ugh. All right, so these are some M5 pins. Notably, it doesn't list 35mm. It's got a 40. And that's what that is. familiar names in chat today. Yeah, Eric, Fluffy, thanks for being here, man. If you have not entered the giveaway, go ahead and do so. We'll probably do that drawing here in about 10 minutes or so. I swear I had a 35 millimeter pin. Let's check the other stash here of pins. All sorts of pins. So I should have 35. Again, more 40s. Don't know. 30. 28. What? Weird, odd sizes. I think this goes in here. I got oil on my hands from those reamers over there. Those look too long. Let's see, what size is that? Those are more, oh man, 45s? I swear I had 35 millimeter pins. Those are 30s. I guess I don't. I guess I'm just crazy. Well, we can use 40s. A 40 should be fine. It'll just be a little longer until we can get a 35. I swear I had one though. That's wild. How did I miss the one item out of all the different hardware that we need? The one thing I screwed up was not getting 35 millimeter pins. Bust out the metal grinder. You could do that. You can make your own pins by grinding them down. But I think a 40 would be fine. I'll just throw a 35 in whatever next order I make. I'm also going to go with the ball on here. I'm going to put that down. I think that's probably the right way to do it. Not exactly sure. It doesn't tell me either. And the idea that they call it a probe target throws me off. I wish they would just call it a pin. You know what I mean? A probe target doesn't, it's not relatable. Probe target. All right, so this goes in the wobbler. So in here, goes in, it says tight with the magnets, cool. So that goes in. Adjusting the pin upwards, hold the magnets in place or push them back down afterwards. Oh, I see. Okay. So as the pin comes in, it can make these magnets pop out. That's what they're trying to say. Push socket heads until they hold in place and tighten. Oh, that's for the mount. Okay. So we'll do that. This can stick out the bottom a few millimeters. Like they're saying, we'll just lose a little bit of Z height because the pin may contact the base. I think we'll be fine though. I'm not really worried about that on a salad fork. So we can adjust this pin up and down to be longer or shorter. That's what I was saying. I don't know that it matters so much. All right, we're getting back to our mount here. Socket heads until they hold in place and tighten a few turns. There's got to be a photo of this because right now the words are just words. Push socket head until they hold in place and tighten a few turns. Doesn't tell me how long. And I think they go in here. All right. How long should these be? I'll tell you what, let's open the CAD model because I have no clue. I also probably need to download it. I don't think I've done that yet. Looking at the BOM, it doesn't really say either. M3 by 25 for the floating and index bases, mounts, M3 by 12s, 6s. Yeah, it doesn't say. Must be smooth head, no knurling, must be conductive. for the socket head cap screws. Is that what I'm using? Anyway, let's find the CAD model. We can upload that in viewer. All bases, I think configured is what we want. I'll download this guy. Come over here and do this. And we'll upload. Grab our downloaded Fusion model. Ooh, not supported. What? Okay, well then let's grab the other one. Let's get the step file. 20. All they have is the 2020 version though. Okay. Well, let's go with it. Download that one and try to upload that one. Just that. And it'll take a little minute. This is your last reminder to get into the description and sign up for the filament giveaway. We'll get set up for that here in a second. We're just letting this load, and then we'll transition to give away some filaments since you guys have been so cool hanging out. And yeah, this should help us a little bit more. Okay, so top is actually the front. This will be home. Okay, that's helpful. Okay, so our screws do go in right here. And so do this one. Base off. Got it. Okay, let's do some filament giveaway. Let me open some windows here and get you guys moving on with your day. All right, filament giveaway. We've got 36 people in. That's all I'm seeing. So if you're not in here yet, probably wrong. Let me get the wheel open. How's that? And so let's close the giveaway. If you're not in there, sorry. You've had 2 hours. Love you, mean it. but it's time to go. All right. YouTube usernames. Bringing everybody in. Eric Fluffy, last person in this week. But you still get the same chance as everybody else. Paste the names. All right. How does that look, folks? We good for that? I need numbers, though. You guys have an outsized chance. There's only 36 people in today. So there's an outsized chance of taking home some LDO filament. 27. It's a big number. Hey, love all the emojis. Awesome. 5s, 6s in here. John M coming in with a lot of 6s. I love it. Bearded Bucket says 7. And because he gave away gifted memberships today, I think Bearded Bucket should get what he asked for. We're going to go with 7. You come from Twitch. I love Twitch. Twitch is a different beast, though. 7 emojis is the same. So let's do it. Suck up. Liz and I have a very special relationship. All right, let's do the 7 here. And good luck to you. Let's see who it's going to be this week. Penguin Makers. Congratulations. We got you some LDO filament over here. I need you to tag me in chat so I can see you're here. You have about 60 seconds left. Kirkman can only a level. Oh, man. Penguin makers, are you still around? Congratulations. I want to give you some LDO filament, man. You gotta tag me so I know you're here. Penguin doesn't need it? He probably doesn't. Penguin makers, you might get edged out. Oh, there you are. Okay. There you are, just in time. So Penguin, the way this works, I'm going to send your email over to Jason and the team at LDO. They're going to reach out to you with your specifics, like what color you want and your address, so they can send you your winnings. If you don't hear from them in a couple of days, it means that I forgot to send the email. So just reach out to me, tell me I'm wrong, and I will correct myself, okay? Congratulations to you. Other requirement, you got to post in the channel to show me what you made with your filament, okay? Congratulations. We'll take care of you after stream. Good job. Let's be honest, how many of us actually need filament versus just want some more? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, obviously, right? Like, I'm pretty okay. But the catch is, Bearded Bucket, that you may not have the color you want or the color and the same material that you want. So like up there's a ton of PLA, but not all of it is in the color that I need to make my thing. So we'll see. Steve Build's coming through with 5 more gifted memberships. Thank you, Steve. We got new members in. So Shrimp Father, Kenneth Davis, Barking Cauldron, and
Thanks for the sub.
MTB Matt, all new members. Welcome to the team, everybody. Oh, and Cybertech. I forgot Cybertech too.
Thanks for the sub.
Let's see if we can finish this up, and then we'll put a lid on the stream today. So they're saying button socket heads in here. I'm just gonna review the CAD in the background. I want to see what length they're using. M3 by 6s. Okay, so that does make sense with what the bomb was saying. On that note, you need to go pretend to do yard work. Aw, sore loser. Sore loser. All right, so I did get the copper screws. These are M3 by 6 socket heads. From what I know about this much of metal is that copper is pretty soft. So I'm going to be careful about not rounding this out. I'm also going to use the right tool so that I don't strip out this, but I understand copper is pretty soft. You're also going to plastic, so you should not be putting a lot of pressure on this, but you could. So how far are we? Let's see. It says, sorry, I lost my place. Nothing is numbered, so I forget which step I was on. Let's see. Push socket heads until they hold in place and tighten a few turns. Okay, so just a few turns. I think I'll just make them flush with the face of this. I think that's what I'm doing. All right, Garrick, man, see ya. You have treats for Steve. Yeah, it says push them in. I don't know if push is the right term here. I think you do have to thread them in. What I don't know is if they need to be all the way in or not. It just says push them in. and tighten a few turns. Add the terminal plug to JST. Push JST fully into the mount. Yes, it will stick out above slightly. What are we even saying? Whatever. Just keep moving. Some of the verbiage could use improvement. Pictures would definitely help. We have video now, so that's good. It's a good reference. Dude, I'm thinking like, if I can get copper hardware in a lot of different sizes, that would be a good look to have like some copper and brass and do that as a theme. I think that would look really good. Just trying to make sure they're all relatively similar as far as how much they are threaded into the part. I've got them just below flush. And these last two, just trying to keep them equal. So there is that. And then we jump into this JST stuff. Go brass for strength, copper for looks. There you go. Yeah, if we could use copper hardware to like secure some brass plates or something. Ooh, yeah, that's a great idea. I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna see how much it would cost to machine some stuff out of brass. All right, so the part I'm at now, it says add terminal plug to JST and then push JST fully into mount. Looking at the pics earlier in the docs, they need to all touch internally and the last two touch the pins of the JST. What? All touch internally. Like all touch the magnets, I think you're talking about? Like what are we touching? Let's look at the CAD model again. All right, so I'm going to remove the plastic piece here. Let me just hide this. Okay, so that is helpful. Okay, so all of these 4 screws should be touching one another. That's why there's interference in the model. Thinking of copper, has anyone ever built a steampunk theme? They touch each other. Okay. Yeah, so I'm seeing it here. I'm a very visual learner. I need pictures and stuff like that. The wording in the way that it's written, I'm sure makes sense to the person that wrote it. But the person reading it secondhand, it doesn't immediately connect. It also doesn't mention that the screws should touch one another internally. So the CAD model definitely helps here. Okay, and then that JST looks like it touches the front 2 screws. Okay, that's helpful. There's the picture right there. That's what I need. That picture right there. Picture books. Yes, picture books are the best. Okay. Yeah, it just threw me off because it said just screw them in a few threads. And if that's the case, how can they all touch internally, you know? You can't have it both ways. So I guess the verbiage should read something like thread them in until they touch one another. You should meet Runcho sometime. I have. I've met him. I got to meet him and hear him speak at Vice when we did Vice in Reno. And I've watched a few of his not live stream. I guess it's a live stream, when he first released Mad Max, I watched that. I've watched a few of his videos talking about building nudge and whatever. Okay, so those feel like they're touching. Obviously, you can't be sure because you can't see anything. There are 2 small holes on the bottom. Right in there. This will focus. There you go. 2 small holes. I'm using those to kind of look through the part to see if the 2 internal threads are touching. And on this right side, it does appear that they are. On the left side, I got more work to do. Grabber meter and test continuity. Cybertech, yes, that is listed a little bit further down in the instructions. So had I remembered or noticed that these holes and what they were for, I could try it from the backside like that and watch that go in. And then I would know when they're touching. '86 sleep score. Congrats, Liz. Yeah. 86 is pretty good. I don't think I'm that high. I think I only got like a 50 something last night. Busy week. Busy week. Test continuity. Don't strip the threads. Yes. Tracking. I'm going until they stop. I'm just going a little at a time until they stop turning, and then I'm done. But I want to get everything done and connected first, and then we'll test continuity here in a second. Just need to find a JST. I think I have some in here. This is a 2-pin female housing. Sleep, what's that? Does that taste good? Sleep number you stuff. Oh, Kenny, I don't know exactly what Liz is talking about, but my Garmin will give me a score every night about how well I slept. Score of 0 to 100. And on that scale, I was at like 50 something last night. So, okay, this goes any particular way. Let's see. So if I'm looking at this way, the opening goes down like that. Like so. Sleep number beds do that well? Yeah, well, I would love to have a sleep number bed sometime. That'd be cool. Then we screw these in until we make contact with the pin on the JST. There's no way to see it though. So I'm just going until I feel some resistance, and then I'm stopping. So about there. Those are not fully threaded in because it felt like they were touching. So now we can test the continuity. Several people had mentioned that. It's also talked about in the instructions briefly. You wear your watch to bed and it measures all your vitals and sleep. Yep. Yeah, as long as you make a good habit pattern of wearing it to bed. I know some folks like take their watch off and charge it and stuff at night. Like, I think that's probably more common with like an Apple Watch or something. But if you're taking it on and off, you gotta wear it to bed if you want to get sleep metrics. Push it in the mount. Yes, it will stick out above. Push hard on the JST plug and terminal. Keep holding as you tighten the 2 relevant screws. Pretty sure I did that. So am I supposed to tighten this more? Because I still have some room before they bottom out in the plastic part. All right, we'll test that. Starting to get too many tools on the desk here. All right, let's go to that. see. You like to keep the Google overlords guessing. Never know. Oh, man. You retired, so you stopped wearing watches. You got the bed when you purchased the house in 2020. Yeah, I want one. I definitely want one. Okay, let's see. Test that the JST terminal resists some pull-out force. Plug pull-out, reinsert a few times. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't want to come out. That's good. Fully tighten the rearmost 2 screws. Fully tighten the middle 2. Look into the viewing holes to see the screw tips hit. Don't over tighten. You just need electrical contact. Keep going and it'll strip. Cool. So now we're doing the continuity stuff. So I should be looking at crosswise. Nothing at the front. But on the pins, I'm getting contact. Okay, let's go to the 2 screws here. Good. 2 screws here. Good. Hey, we did it right. Eventually. Good job, team. It's not as hard as I thought it was going to be. Just had to fight through some language barrier there. All right. Looking good. All right, now we're to the assembly part. All right, let's see. It says put the wobbler into mount and test for clickiness. Okay, so that goes in there. Let's test for clickiness. I mean, I guess it feels pretty clicky. Oh, sorry, my head's in the way. I'm sorry. Here, this is pretty clicky. Listen to this. I don't know if you can hear that or not. You're curious, do you have Pez? Yeah. Yeah, Pez is Pez Liz has a lot of those. All right. I think that's what we wanted. Confirm end-to-end continuity between the JST terminals. I had that if using steel screws, some resistance, copper, single digit or less. Trim TPU to desired length. Push in the base magnets, keeping the same orientation. All right, we're going back to the CAD model on this one. All right, so there's supposed to be a base. And the base is this portion here. And I don't see any TPU in there, but there's that groove. Is that what they mean? There's supposed to be some TPU in the groove? It just looks like this goes on. Watch your stream sometime. Get him, Liz. Get him. All right. Optional for bases. Trim TPU to length. Push in base magnets, keeping the same orientation. Screw in 2 button head cap screws. These are intentionally tight holes. Test the mount to confirm the probe type and length are about right. You can adjust slightly in place. Optional for bases. What does that mean? Looking back, the money you threw away, you had a ton of them as a kid in the 60s. Yeah. I think we do that with a lot of things when we're kids. We don't appreciate the fact that maybe it could be something, but I don't think you really know that something could be valuable later, potentially. All right. Do I need this base at all, though? I don't know. I printed it. It's here. And it would go like that. But I don't know that I need it or not. And then there was this other part that kind of goes with it. I don't know how this, I don't know if I need the base or not. Unless it just holds everything together to keep the trigger from falling out. TPU filament as a gasket of sorts. Lewis, I think you're right. But I don't know why I would need a gasket. Like this is mounted to the bed frame, so 60s topper Batman utility belt. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. And then you add magnets to it. Like, what are the magnets for? To attract it? I don't know. And the CAD doesn't have any magnets in the picture either, so maybe I don't need it. It did say optional at some point here. So it says optional for bases. Test mount to confirm the probe type and length or about right. You can adjust slightly in place. If only I had a breakdown of what base to use on what printer on the GitHub. I looked at this. Look, so if I come in here, it should be in the instructions, but it's not in the instructions. And then if I look at the STLs, it just says low, high. There's a base floating, base indexed. And the indexed version is this one with the ledge. And I printed that because I wasn't sure which one to use. That's why I just printed everything. Oh, wait, it's step on. Oh, step 1? Let me see. Because nothing is numbered. So, like, what is the... Step 1, choose the mount, wobbler type, and probe target length. It doesn't talk about a base. So choose the mount type. We chose this 1515 low. And then choose the wobbler type. We did the 5mm pin. Probe target length. So anything 35 plus. We used a 40mm pin. To find an ideal length for the target probe, measure from the top of the bed flex plate. We did all that, but it never mentions a base. So Bearded Bucket, I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, I guess I could go forward in this video. So this is what we did. Just screwing in a bunch of stuff. We did all that. Ooh, he's got a thumb screw. I need one of those. All right, so that's all together. Mine looks like that. Then put in your screws that you're going to use to mount to the bed frame. And he's adding in 3 nuts to slide it onto a 1515. So slide it on like so, and then tighten it down. But never is there a base included. So I don't know what that base is for. I guess we don't need it then. Cool. I guess we don't need it. I will add in my, what are these? These are 12s. We'll add our 12s in there and call it good. Pretty sure I have 12s in this kit. Let's see if that works. Yeah, that should work. And with a few M3 nuts on here, that'll be ready to go onto the bed frame. So that one. Yeah, I really wish I could use no drop nuts because taking this frame apart is gonna be a pain to get this stuff installed in there. It's a lot of undoing work just to redo work. But no drop nuts don't work into a non-LDO frame. They just don't have the same slot width. Done. There's a nudge. And I don't know what we're going to use a base for. But that's pretty cool, like how it wobbles and stuff. The only thing I can think of is like the base keeps it from dropping out the bottom. So maybe we just add it on to do that, but I don't know that I need the TPU cover or anything. So I'm gonna just put that on. These are what, button head 35s? 25s. So this one, let's see, will that reach? Yeah, it should be fine. Ooh, I'm seeing it. Okay, so if I'm mounting this to the extrusion this way, like I would be on the front of the salad fork, then I need the screws here. These vertical are if I am screwing it to the top of an extrusion because the screws cross. It's probably easier to show in the CAD model. Okay, I'm understanding a little more now. So this 25mm screw goes through the same path as this 12mm screw. So if I remove the plastic, you'll see they cross through the same hole. So I imagine that the base is to mount flush to an extrusion. And the reason that you would have a TPU gasket is to prevent any sort of like vibrations or anything like that from transferring through the frame, and just to cushion that that mount a little bit. So I don't need both. That's why I was confused. Okay. So I don't need that at all. Perfect. We'll get rid of all of that. And we'll start to clean up and wrap stream. Like always, I appreciate everyone hanging out. I'm definitely going to have to come back and redo some of the frame off stream today. I just got to go handle some things. And then I'll come back and we'll get after updating the frame with some M3 nuts so I can actually use it. What else do we have to do? I've got to print some stuff for these reamers. Thanks to all those who shared links and gifted memberships and all that kind of stuff today. All the support for the channel is appreciated. That helps to continue these kinds of builds, and it shows that you guys actually care about what we're doing here. So thanks for investing in the channel, investing and making sure that we can come back each and every week. I don't have anyone to push you over to. If someone has a recommendation of where you'd like to go, I'll set it up real quick and push you guys over there. I'm seeing, what, 37 people still hanging out? So if anyone's got an idea of who we can raid into, I'd love to set that up over here. Let me see if I can find somebody. I'm gonna miss you at Murph too, man. I'd love to go to Rocky Mountain. I can't. I've got to go to school, and I'd rather spend my last day in town with the family than be on the road. So basically, I would arrive Friday morning, have to depart Saturday evening on a red eye to be in place on Sunday so that I could start school on Monday. It's a lot, and I didn't want to do it. So yeah, I'm tracking control. Usually I already have it set up to raid over to Steve. He's just not streaming this week, so we need to find a replacement. I see some people going, but it's not anything that would be relatable to us making the right choice. Yeah, I mean, I'd really like to go. Like, it's the one thing I look forward to each and every single year. Around me, there's nobody that builds printers and does this kind of hobby. So, all of the folks that I chat with and hang out with are on the internet. It's great to see folks that I'm talking with on the internet in real life. I'm definitely a people person, and I like that human interaction. Discord and things like that will get me there. Streaming will get me there, but that human face-to-face contact is what I need more. So a little bit bummed about not being able to go to Rocky Mountain. But I'll definitely watch all of the content and all of the streams and as much engagement in servers with other folks that I can between now and then. So, yep, exactly. So, Bearded Bucket, are you guys doing, what is it? What's the TikTok one? Maker After Dark or whatever it is? Print Talk After Dark. Are you guys doing that? I know you did that last year, right? You had like a 12-hour all-day stream or something. If you guys do that, I might jump in there from time to time. Yeah, fun interviews. Well, good. I'll see you over there. I suppose we'll just cut it off. I don't know of anybody else streaming right now, so we'll cut you guys there. Thanks for hanging out. Really appreciate you, like always. We're back here for one. I'm going to try to get one more in before I leave on Sunday. DNZ Live, I'll be there. I'll try to get one more stream in before I have to leave. I literally only have 6 days. So we'll figure out what works best within the week, and we'll probably do something midweek. If not, I'm going to try to take care and do Saturday. But we'll see. So Steve, take care. Everybody else, take care. Try and support your local makers and watch as many streams as possible. A lot of them are in the chat already, so go and check out their stuff. Always good to see other people do things. Y'all have a good week. I'll see you hopefully sometime earlier in this week. Bye, everybody.